Ati for me bamo I heard about Max Tech Talk on Max FM 89.7. And then so yaba ebiem say yaba bedi technology ho enkomo. Adia ema wotimi ma wani technology dwumadie ho anase yeka tech a ade bi tech bia no it has to do with the use of computing anase data anase mobile applications say TV o say cars say lifestyle. Technology hunsembiano. This is how, or this is where you're breaking into, the smallest and particles. The answer you boom. Said a baby to me at TSC now. What to me a baby frame. Now was what to me and TSC when you may be home. And then so my baby mo and no baby discuss technology home come Tuesday. Yeah, to me yeah, boy. I think say we were not able to come live on Tuesday, but then say we did a playback. And then so yaba be discuss wonderful topics on technology. Ben no me no ba be discuss nkomobi ehun hia na wo se nipa bian so a wo man mu no so no. Wo hwese saade ya me beka ho asem so no. Obema wani apa ho na wadanso. No ahu se wo nipa ban na esi ho no. Bibia wo hu bia no ehu hia ma aban bibia wo hu bia no e wo se ehu hia o en ye wo twi kasa bia na ye nkasa ye mu no obi tumi kasa ni din de mi din hu hia me ye se edimpa yesene ahonya enti se wo ye nipa wo din enko ano etumi ebie akwan ema wo ma etumi ebie akwan ema wabusua enti de bia nipa de ubenya bibia wo wiasum de ne nso ade ba ko esombo ni emno boarding ayesen kransase eyedin enti se udin hu hia wa na ese bibia fa udin ne hu bia no e wo se ehu ebehia wo ene me ne wo kasafa data protection anase privacy protection no me yimu na mafa data protection se bebia yebo yedin ana bebia yekwa yegie information ediguo no ban boben ene wo ho emayen asoman se udi udin ana ko register bibi ni age udin age u telephone numbers age u baby awote age u height ti say ye ko register ye Ghana card information a yeji ye nyina no ye de ye sa ne mani nyina no wo yeji wo sa wo niema no hu nimdia se wunya anysen se ukọ baabi se wokoto bibi ne yeji wo information a sa information no sen na mra no ekasa fa ho na edien na esa wo so hu efa sa information ho enti enen me no be kasa fa ye data protection act no ene kwan ya ye fa so a e wo se yensu hu kwan ya ye be fa so aboyen yen information ho ban ye de mankrofo ene baabi wo kra na akotaduane a ansa na aduane ne beba no ye se fa number maye afi woni beba ho so no nya aduane ne keke ene ye be fra wo se bia aduane na so wo ha na afi esen no advert ni ade which is not part of the contract and yet part of the agreement ya no mkoye but people are just feeling say jinkrofo numbers ya ho akwanya say ye send SMS ma ye de bombard on advert ni ade which is not supposed to be so intena no me no discuss bibi kakra bi afa ekwan a yen data ye gi enkrofo gi enne kwan ya mfa so use data no enne won so kwan a na asa kwanya wo se ana authority a wo e information a wo de ama wo bi e fa wo ho na ekwan ya yesi nipa no use ade no in line with ade a waka kiro so de koye eno ne ade a eneme no be discuss se ye ka data ye me no be call ye data protection act no which is 2012 ye data protection act 2012 no eneme no be komu kakra bi na ye data protection act o man pani agitumu 10th of March 2012 and what the parliament de call ye mukotena si debate ye ehwehwe mu hu say e wo se ye di BBC ba o man ni mu ne ye de bo citizens ne ho ban enti afini mu no 10th of March 2012 na o man pani de nsa e hya ase e ma ne be ye mra enti ne no ye wo mra ye de bo ye data ho ban enye se bia wote ho keke na amanfo edi information edidie ana ye use information abra wonnim kwan ye se ofaso use no e wo se wote ase se emra e wo ho na eniema bebre ho no mo a wo se wote ase say ye data protection act ni mu a na ye interpretation session anase ye baabi a omo kyerɛkyerɛ nneɛma ase wɔ act ni mu no sɛ ade wei a yaka wa han so wokɔ interpretation no na omo kyerɛ wade potina egina hɔ ma sɛ ye yen data protection ni mu a ade baako a omo kasa fa ho pa ye personal data ye gifri ye ho na ye kasa obi personal data enye wudin enko ena enye wo email address enko ena enye wo telephone number na emom interpretation act no se wokɔ ase a data protection no omo personal data a ye kasa ya gi obi personal data egina ho ma niema bebre a se saa niema no se obi gye na nipa na ntimi nipa no wogye ye no wo arehwemu se nipa no betimi abɔ ho ban na ema bonten ana wo gidie bi se nipa wogye ye no betimi ahwɛ so yie se de be ya ɛho ntɔkyema a saa personal data no ɛno ne ade a ɔmra no edi gina hɔ ɛde kyerɛ wo se wei ɛne wo personal data enti yɛka personal data according to interpretation act no ɔmo se one de di kan a ɛka nipa personal data ɛyɛ race say we white say we black ana say nton a wobɔ ana abusua a wo join to race ɛna wo ethnicity enti say we asantini say we dagombani we mfantini ɛne baby a ufri oba enti say yɛka wo personal data de ba ko a ɛno nso yɛtimi de attach you in terms of your personal data ɛyɛ wo tribal ana say or tribal of origin enti say we mfantini a it is part of your personal data so we asantini a it is part of your personal data we aigbeni a it is part of your personal data enti origin abusua ufri mu ene enton a wobɔ ene ade nyina no say ye information about wo ne yɛbobɔ saa ne ma na it is part of your personal data ena ade ba ko a omosa kyerɛ biem ɛfa obi personal data nipa ne political opinion which is very serious say obi political opinion say obi kyerɛ na adwen ana obi nsusuye fa amanyosɛm ho say nipa no nsusuye no a o kyerɛ ɛfa na amanyosɛm ho ana ya amanyosɛm ho no saa opinion no ɛka o personal data ho say ye bodin ɛbata saa de no ho ana ebebata ho edise obi fa saa opinion no misconstrue no di watem ana gu animu ase a na yetimi pinpoint mu se saa asem we nipa we ne kan ne nyese na okan na obi achimu a emrama ho kwan tima wo ye bibi de etoso biem a ye wo personal data eye wo religious belief say wo ye kramoni say wo ye kristoni say wo ye obi a osom nananom say wo ye buddhism say wo ye ayi saa nyema ni nyina no de wo belong to no eno so bata ho enti sa de na bata ho no enya wo political opinion say amanyo sem adwenkyere nko na emom yesa ka say wo religious aspect and our religious background na wo belong to no eno so ka wo personal data ho ena omo ese kire say ye ka o physical and our medical and our health condition and our mental condition and our DNA into physical so we need ban said ye we need ban sitie wo apomu sitie wo appearance sitie won hwene wani waso wuti won ose wo height bibi bia efa wo physical appearance obi betimi aka say we eye Clive we eye Kwame we ye Fosuhen no saa ade no ye bobata wo ho a it is part of your personal data. O medical records, say wako hospital, na doctor aje wo data bi, na watwetwe opipam, okwa yo afa pipa no watwero, onhwene wuti, wano. Saa nyema ni nyina o COVID report, oni wo saa nyema ni nyina no, eka part of your personal data. Afei, wo mental condition, say de wadwimu tie, say ya records no baby, say wadwimu etie, say na adwin no enya papa, say ye papa ni nyina kan personal data no ho ena afei DNA say ye wo say ye pese ye kire say we ba no ana say wo papa nie ana say enyo papa nie ana papa we na wo ana se nya papa we na wo ana maame ye wo no de gina ho kire se nipa wo saa DNA records no it's part of your personal data. And now was sexual orientation. And he said we oba we bema. That your sexual orientation is your bolding Clive wa. Na yakas we bema. Sa bema no. Bema na we no. A part of your personal data. Enti ade ba kwa emra no yenya ye twitwitwi ho a yenya ntumu that aspect of sexual orientation and nkofo bi pese omo so de ba oman mu a ye pese oman mu ni nyina so ene omo nya adwen no eno so so enko a na ese oman ni nyintuma na ese o sexual orientation Ghana de nim no se ye oba se ye bema eno eka ho ena se wa committee offense bi ana se ya allege say wa committee offense bi say a core records mu a it become part of your personal data. Enti ye kan personal data enye say wudin nema ababubo so nyina even committing an offense. Our offense no ya gia tum na ya prosecute intina say o ko utu kwan eti because kwaji police report fabra na yenhwe eno so kan o personal data ho. Iti eba be kan wo personal art is one you careful e say I the boni a ebetimi ama odin boni ene ma odin boni a e kwan a ebe fa so use de atia wo no e ya na ebebre iti ni pe bia wo ha e say we very careful with enema wo ye because you can personal data we say you can say data break you breach obi company bi there's a hacking you breach your system no ama personal data bi a reveal sa personal data ne nema mabubo so nyina no enema ni bi ka ho eno so yetigi no ama o personal data ena se ye ka se enema eno so timi ma wanim ebeda ho no ene o personal data enti sa nyema mabubo so nyina no interpretation section of the Data Protection Act 2012 no ekire yense sa nyema we ene ne ekeka ho sometimes wo court a enema yaka no wo act ni mu no court no which is the Supreme Court etimi ma interpretation say ekoba bi na say High Court no kana say ofi de nipa ne ye kan ofi so won tiase na opem interpretation a otimi ko Supreme Court nko ana emra ne mo ho kwan say omo interpret law no enti baby e kan law bia entiase nya adwuma no Supreme Court and the interpretation nema. Enti the mabubo so nyina Supreme Court betimi de bia keka ho a kirekire mu even more to the point say said the bia me ya twere no ha no kra no interpretation ni kwa akire. Now, denti amani abra make sa de ma we nyina ne say ene no ye the information a efa ye ho ye personal ama nkrofo bi. Na sa nkrofo no ye de sa information ni ma wo no. E de na eso mo de sa information ni ye ene de ni kwa so mo de ye. Etene obehu obi na wakọ register obi a Facebook for say ye information we na say de be ye be boa ya me ya serve better. Na say ye be sumu yie eti ye ji udin ye ji email ye ji telephone number ye ji baby a wote ye ji phone number ye ji height ye ji waware na waware ye ji sanye mani nyina na ye de form wo personal data ewo system ne so na sa personal data e ya de a eni ho kwan se wonipa na wode mae no wadwe mu no se wonte ase se eni kwan se ekọ baabi a ewo se sa data na wode ama company no ewo se wo ho a enti se company bi afa enkrofo adwuma na omaji information about the people yaji ne medical health records yaji ne din yaji ne data yaji ne niema bi ye de gu internet so oma store se de be ya ye pe hom sem bi a betumi anya sansem na yaji ne nyina no se emran masa institution ho kwan se otumi share sa information na sa information yaji no se nya wanka sa wode mae no se wonte ase ma company na se otumi share company ni no kwan bia se wo share internet do be ko 17 section 17 of Act 2012 with the Data Protection Act no me do be ko 17 na ma kyerɛw e kwan ya sa data ye gifa ye ho emra no ye emra ne kafa ho as oman said ye be ye ne wo ko internet so na obi gi information na obi gi telephone number obi gi obi bibia nipa bi agi bia no e wo se wutimi hu die nti a wo gye de odi beye ene de mra ne ma ho kwan se wo so se wo ye ena sa nipa na wo gye no de mra ne ma ho kwan se wo so se wo ye hwe unya under any obligation say obi busa wudin a yesa wode ma no anywhere on the street o mu say wudin ye public obi anim say be a friend Clive obi anim say a friend say be am the Clive but emra enhya me keten say me hia obi wo kwan ho busa me din a e wo say me bɔ me din kire no especially say obi afrew say me pe obi number na unim nipa no say aminim no so fa ne number ma me na me mfrɛ no edru ba bia isi nipa na oje ne number no se me bu ni me de boom akete ana me boom enketo ase de be ya obeti ase ya wonni hu ekwan bi so no wonni hu kwan kra se wodi obi number ma obi abra wonyi nipa no consent ekwan bi so no se wonni enye bibi na aba na mra ana mranimfo ekase yehia because law ne ma emra no kwan sa police for ana say court ho kwan say omutimi gi information efiri bu habra ye ne consent and the emra no wo ho but say wo agi agina mu say wo process obi data na wagi information no say wo de ya ade bi na all of a sudden ade na wo de information ye no wawie afa wo wie ye no wo sa ade ye bibi foforo emra no tia enti say wo koyen act ni mu a from 17 to 26 and in data protection principles or my mu. Eti ekwan ya ebefa so ebebo wu data no ho ban the EC foaje, the NCA foaje, the MTN foaje, the Vodafone foaje, baby akoto aduane de omagye. Sa nkrofo no mogigi sa data information ni nyina no. Emra ne hye om keten okwan ya efa so ese de information no edifom. Eti we ekire wo say we your mind ba pay. Within any information be a found who be no or political opinion, baby a free, race, ethnicity, or physical structure, medical records, and who here on mine. And you know, quite say information be found better bontia, or my home quite say a mabontina better bonting. I was say we are very careful. Now, what kind from 17 now? What kind from 17 na was say obi bia obe wadwen se wogi obi data sa data no wogi data no was say we take into account privacy of the individual. That means say wudin okoto bibi wo baabi na nipa ne ka che say ba chofa wudin no number mayen na de oje ane say wudin no number na ye agi no ye gi say bi ade na wo to no ebeduru a yebefra wo de amaw ye gi se ebia wudin ne wo number na wo de mayen no eno na ye hwe se yebetimi no wadi nkitanso na bibia ni a ebia betimi a refer to ne ade ebia no ne privacy ene ade a eye yaw pa ne say a lot of companies were Ghana ha omuni data privacy omuni privacy policies omuni data protection policies eti omoye website a eno and say if you want to communicate with us and if you want to mail us, go to this place and send us. Now, almost your email address, your email address, never will message you sending. Some information on marginal, it constitutes collection of data. It is a company in any proper privacy principles. That means company and in the first place, no, I'm not violating the Data Protection Act. And say what design a website keke. Now what did be to her say open contact here for information we get to us and all that. But the question is, some information na more gino apart from email no or sending no. Now more gini email address maybe and the telephone numbers near no. Some information no more the heading. And I'm running say and some will be better some information. Only pana wojino. And was so making sure say there is privacy. The privacy of the individual say you won't unim. Onkwana make a channel, onkwana what this information, and was so taking reasonable steps to protect that information. In 17, he say, what would you say data no? A funny panon, data subject no, data subject near why you personal data no. And was so privacy, and we hear side company in our origin. In Tenenya be and Esa Wujina.
and our website be an SL now ko pull information at the mouth just because to adebi and now person wo GB bintino or mase fabra and I may di ansana and information we my and send it to me e was say wo privacy policy any of data protection and our privacy policy concerning with data na mo no company ni am srew en pepre ho nko en fa information koma wom na ade na ehu ni say ye bebo udin oba bi na enye wane so obi jusu udin dia ye bibi na ye de na sa information na nka ni kwa say kwa bonten no ye de na fa akodi abonten man krofo e de omo say susom it will data and our personal data there it should be very very sensitive enye ba bia na ese wugina na wo wudi information e fa ho nyina atodwa there be it is section 17 say principles wa e was say omo gene body na agent accountability lawfulness of the process say data no kra omo process no it should be lawful that means it must comply with the specifications and I say with Nema ya spell out or data protection act in him say comply forget it the people have already violated it it in the first place no illegal say obeji obi information abra on comply with the data protection and the schools universities be brave at the student data students academic records any day they have no data protection they have no protection policies governing these students. And to be resource crano, and I say ni index numbers near the end can you say reveal crano. They almost see publishes some of the results no crano. It's not supposed to be so, but they do it because it is an academic environment, and that is how they go about it. But if you subject some of the principles in these schools to the Data Protection Act now, you realize a lot of these universities will have violated it. Internal apply academic records. Yes, so touch forms online. Fill it in here, any ade. Say I'm for what? Say information and investing in what the Say I'm for what? Say I'm for what? I'm one me course now. Some information on Moji no. On Moji and F on Moji. On Moji the after the Omoji no. So after one say Omu you see the ABB and to win one. And I hear talk crano. Win him see a ton. I'm with the company be and a company that started bombarded with advert. Win him cross be investing and ask baby I'll quite plan a young for no. Omo information. But the question is, Omo Moji information no. Are they in compliant with the Data Protection Act? It is a okay 18 na hona assembly jina pa say obi bia woji obi personal data na wo processing ne say original type here e de agu ni system nim na obo udi no upload pictures that processing na e store on the database so no I was so making sure say when infringe on your privacy enti say ne wo data bi wa bonten a say hackers bi a hack company bi as our company near baby I will call pain edo personal data come out more na say na beto abonten na say without your consent and they supposed to have taken reasonable steps so be protected you have every cause to bring an action against the company intenenye baby akeke na ese woko se na ko baby na okoto ade ne yesi fa telephone number mayana busa say aduane na wo to no telephone number de ne sen aduane na wo to atena ho age no ye age telephone number de ayeden enti se ne ya age telephone number wan frɛ wo tie mu na abeje ye number so enso aduane na ben no akɔgye afa wo ho no mo a company na ono no ge telephone number no was started say no adverts promotions was it the reason why India was your telephone number and was it something you consented to say about your my telephone number na moje ye no mo de be den would you two mu say one g and two now when you say be wa adwemu no say you see Ghana we take a lot of things for granted and then we have people's information everywhere and being misused by companies without recourse to the privacy of the individual and their information no. And then obia ko baby also or pay data for information man for telephone number man show within show telephone number show this sankrofo na moji sa telephone number no bebre when it comes to compliant with the Data Protection Act now they are zero Oba kra na obi laptop so kra na this information ni gu. Na stipa ne kofia ne me hwe ne yire hwe ne nafofo hwe otimi the laptop na ya di nkofo details agusu no open to the public for outsiders, third parties to have access to that information. Eti eka obi personal data enye ni din ni telephone number nko a ni picture mpo ana ba bi otene dan number kra no ye betimi identify say e dan we kwaku dia say kodi obi phone so ana kodi ba bi eni kwa say kodi a you have infringed on somebody's privacy. It will be political say amanyosem kra adwenkyere so obi aka no obi afasa information no say unless it's public, but private information is encrofo eche o madwen anamo bibi o mo dis o mo communicate ni ade na ni kwa say ba out was mafa me de kogu nanimu ase. Timrani say information bi a woji no it should be in a lawful manner. That is emrane ma ho kwan say de woji no obetumi age emrane na ma ho kwan o. It is a lawful manner na okodwia ana akotena ba bi na de bibi kotena na ogada nkrofo information na woji a it is a serious infringement on people's privacy. Inti abrochirempo se company bi gi data na bia omo company no you te say Facebook dia ayaji transborder data sharing se Ghana for a register of Facebook nyina sa data no Facebook wo in the side data no Facebook wo no in a manner they are supposed to use it must comply with the general data protection principles. They can't use the data other than what they have stated they will use it for. Enti ebeka kra no ubedru baby abebo odin no na enkrofo astate point o sa okra we ufri ha aha na wote omanie you see se obi bo bibi fa ho aya abrasa ade no onko na wonimu a etima wo yem hyew internet wo ko baby no obi gi information obi gi data if ene omikofo tu kwan kra yi a na ye form o ye form wa be ko bi atwe odin twe telephone number tro be bia wote time a de ba be duru ha ene oko companies a ye wo a lot of book log eda ho oko a watwe odin visitor time abai de obeye ho na be hu no. Some information a company national, they must be able to make sure say it complies with the Data Protection Act. So they be for details it should not even sometimes majority of them shouldn't be seen by a public eye. It is an penny na betro ni din, no the telephone number betro ni din ti oba company anymore. The next person buy ya penny telephone number na we fashion. Oh okay. On also by 10 o'clock. Investigation. Book no. So data protection principles no or data protection act no, it is very key and you must ensure say whoever is responsible for the collection and processing no must be compliant with the act. Internet uko baby online na wo to ade ni age information but come privacy ho ko read at the current potia some information omoji omode beye. You have a say obi antimi kan tell say obi age information say no say company mi na akoto aduane wo ho na age wo number na mo send no advert ni ade obetimi afre company na ka tell say but according to the data act ni say me din na wo mu database munyin film and they are mandated to remove the name. Enti was say na what you say your personal data is your private life. It is your unless say what consented to say you using it publicly. Enti bibi bia e found ho say me do ko me do ko US on my personal Data Protection Act section 1 Was say any information related to an identified or identifiable natural person. Act your friend data subject. An identifiable person is one who can be identified directly or indirectly, in particular by reference to an identification number or to one or more factors specific to his physical, psychological, mental, economic, cultural, or social identity. Enti ye ka personal data and not just within and within and no body new age. Your psychological it is part of your personal data. It will mean to me ko jina baby and ka se nipa we na adwemu aka no. Eye de no hu ye was me call hospital na akotwere din say wanya ni tipai no. Sa na adwemu kan na ni tipai na for reason to akọ hospital na wa akotwere baby obi akohu hospital no. It is a breach of privacy. You can't just write things in notebook and open it. And you know, say, that information you are collecting is a sensitive information. And for that matter, those information must be given the necessary protection they need. It will be more information because of the fact that you're public. It can lead into so many legal litigations. It's so easy. And I say, yes, so say, we breaches our law, we now will be the court. Ni who say what you be data and now quality will be data internet so who your business now you say oh man person be business no why your online website be now the form will be at to send phone for information now let us hear about you and now you university we say do you want to register for this course give us your data so that we get back to you. Please make sure say information now it is in compliance with the Data Protection Act, and your data privacy law must be consistent with the act. Into the company, we need data protection, we need privacy laws, we need privacy, terms and conditions on your website. You will come copy the dito from other companies. So I did you say the court ne ni be mua. Obo say what na any the emra ne kano e boy bra totally. A boy bra. Intene. There may come what here say information. Any name be a way no. E was so who say emrana e bata ho no wo de ye adwuma. And sorry can find information man crofobia. And sorry can share with telephone numbers and email address in organizations be. You must understand say the law is so strict when it comes to privacy of individuals. Okay, section 18 of our constitution. It tells you say obia privacy. The law allows that the privacy of people should be respected. And that privacy is found in section 17 to 26 in terms of the personal details and privacy of people. The law deals with it in that act. Until you go to Supreme Court or for interpretation, they refer to that section 18, then they will come back to section 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, up to 26. That deals with the protection. Internet, uko be Facebook, wakufo be image, and now be picture be, oh baby, na nipa ne nye na adwin so obehye no ade akoto baby na all the gu nipa ne ho fia. It is a breach of privacy against the person's personal data, psychological, social identity. Say a nipa ne ye we enti no de abeto abonten say nipa no we we o, and by mere the fact that there's an intention behind it, it is a breach of privacy. And any dinko, and any sex tape unko, and any pictures unko, even a psychological aspect. Said the nipa nadwimu TST ekrano. It is part of his personal data. And so what it must be kept confidential. And you must understand how these things work. And how you must understand says Emrano Emma ho kwan. Se o kan section 19 na. Was say personal data may be only be processed if the purpose for which is to be processed is necessary, relevant, and not excessive. Okay, and no engage on ho sao. Enti the frame be identity theft obi wa so obi afo bi information bi o de ye bibi obi ahwia obi now sometimes you cry no SMS a wunyan efri he Intenoko baby no because ye tu kwan obi anfa ne number mrain fa o telephone number bra ana okoto aduane pa che fa odino number mine ana okọ baby ene obi timi the number phone gina kwan ho wase o pese oto ade a o de ma o telephone number no within ye be get in touch with you for what? You are not under any obligation to give your personal data unless the law requires that you should give it. And then no mean kasan kwetri. Now there ba kwa mrane sa ka hu biemu ne section 20 was say a person shall not process personal data without prior consent of the data subject unless the purpose for which the personal data is processed is necessary for the purpose to which the data subject is a party. Without prior consent to into what the data no crowd the crowd be no, the person must agree to it because he is a party to it. It is an okko trade no because if our number mama no mu sane the ogime number na ye na no answer akwetena say twen say do aduane be brew na afi oni be ba so ne send advert ni sa nema no which is not part of the reason to omoje on number okko also okko trade aduane keke afi are you now a loyal customer to the point say you know more that relationship so bit me your number send you anything that they want. And all back to school ni gin information be brave oba kura na computer kura yedin kola ni data kura gusu no kura no enye papa the school bit me ka say ye data ni nyina wipe enkofo data ni nyina yira really. And company be a when on taking reasonable steps to secure people's personal data timika sa ayira and I hard drive na ha your computer na crash it be a yire free so it hey. And you trust such an institution with your children's medical records, with your children's identity, anything that can connect to them. You trust that institution. I think say Ghana Education Service should begin to look into how these institutions process students' data. And if it's not compliant, they should be shut down. Because data now, it is regulated by law. And as long as you are violating the law, it is an offense. And then you be keke. And then you see the obi aji bibia obi a fa telephone number mame fa number mame fa di mame and fa na wo tie twero me pa wo enye ba bia o obi anso ntimi nhyawo enti so ko website bi na ye fa di mame fa enti na Facebook dey make say ekwan ya fa so di information ko Facebook is wrong. And the Facebook will register or say for a telephone number ne we email address e bo ko telephone number keke no ma send you code no log in and no. Why? Because the omu here and say obe log in after you study who you are. No mo so ton advert, mo so ton de tani bi man crofo. But then dey make am one sim later. It is also very, very careful. No. I mean, personal friend numbers no. 0201 0201 825 252 0201. Nobody me afraid now. 0201 825 252 0201 825 252. Hello.
Hello, Master Clive.
Hello, Bacho.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sammy, me Frasila.
No, Sammy, Bacho.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
You, not a temper, but last week no Moana statistical service one around. Almost say national service persons one personnel in a mobile na. Almost see almost feel. Nti yeduma na omo ye no. Omo gi detail. In fact, me no kakra but me share no so no. No kura nyama trace of ho. And I man me details.
Okay.
Nti ano so I don't know whether it's wrong or right. Secondly, I no pay na me koto electricity. No kwa pay ni me ko na bi ni ho. And I me cha me card. And I exchange number. But Hannah say we are, my friend not see about. And you also, yeah, she and say it is not some training, and I'm not some training.
All right. Mati, it is the statistical service for the fee. I mean, they are required by law to do certain things and require some data to be collected. In Tomodia, you can't to me and see because I know the Emra and I'm how can some way Juma. But they make any institutions are data uni baby omode baby omode free the omode ye uni mama almost subai uni mama baby crampo website near there omuni policy privacy be no answer my website and kekena ye jinko for data and then I make one say also ye careful because information I want and next because we team they do a and no one will hear of physical presence we just need a DV bit me connected to you tina me Ghana card mania break Ghana card and for them for 40 me amount for SIM card a register for Ghana card. And I make it because so data now Ghana card no so we be na ya connect no. It will be the register phone abra wonye aware. Now we consent to it e dangerous. And on mine also say me nya steps be a take class say the solve that problem no. Say the be an phone to me for be card and ko register number be. And I suggest say omonye two-factor authentication. Keke. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, but what say?
Discipline this.
Discipline.
Oh no, I say you tap GBC ready. Oh no, net here because we try them. Now a Ghana card a Ghana card. I'll be no need no register. How say I don't enjoy a Ghana card. I am man of respect. The register ship. And this Ghana I want brother. I'm not going to do my especially as I say once I say once I have done a power. Opening see that document. That thing. Someone to Janika, police Nikra.
This is never heard to you there. My name will be some rabbi in your jealous panso. Yamishrao. Eti yen very careful. As on mine, especially your Data Protection Act, no, yen starting fanya juma. Na encrophobia who kwanza, as some of us some best started the emrana ye juma because hello.
Oh, hello, me I put the saying.
Yamia do more.
You did the Saturday. What else you do? Say, so Ghana card and one. Say, on mine, I hope only this so cool. And the answer the Ghana phone this so cool. Oh, yeah, the bonnet. What is the bonnet, Papa? Oh, to go and take us to go to the man who got in. As you see, I'm the flow. Say, you'll be at the one already starting. Me, I can't get on Saturday. Let's say, requires out you add the card into one register money. They got a card where you are.
Anyway, we are so reporting. Why?
Police in Impo, Emma, one for we can find court within Francoje. The 12 American 50 Ghana. Because sometimes not many many poor can miss coming. I'm sorry. Listen that in Ghana can register something. We cannot make me what attacking what bomb you. It's recorded that we have from and we are going to 5. See, I pause soon. So, so this police not making the one camera on my head. It's a
matter.
You will do my papa. You will do my
your data protection no ehun hia ye hun sem no de Ghana card de be make cancer because ye be bia na wasa card no so this on mine no ehun say nkofo de register nkofo SIM card yen take drastic measures to stop that attitude say yen discouraging crofo with a serious taker. A bit me we deal with afi ye see an cause yen say na man no a
in the years to come, obi kura be kwa bruchi na yaka just waba harada. Then abaya ye do Ghana card akoye bibi wo honom. Am ya register within the system mu. Abra wonnim ho hwe. And na one kasa nso no a wo so ko ba bia ye kase fa wo telephone number mame, fa wo number mame, fa wo fee number mame. So wonnim crofo na mo gi numbers na sa details na wo ye den na wo de ma wo. Don't do it. You are not under any obligation to disclose unless the law requires this information are being collected in lawful manner. And no koto duane krese for telephone number mam. Or aduane na koto ne telephone number na ye ne. Ye ju telephone ye ju din. Oh ha ya bo din krase be ju aduane no. The next day won call ho nse ya catch us ye ne ye ton aduane o. E de no bitimi send on SMS marketing abra wunye consent to it. Ye Data Protection Act no. The data protection for they should be up and doing. They should begin to strike. So they be enkrofo data enkrofo collecting. And the hospital bu abeko notebook da ho. And enkrofo di omo tro. And omo yare nyina no. Obi su kwa no akotro. Obi kwa no akotro. It's like ye mo obi a privacy wo ho. And the doctor etia asem a na obi ti ho na wo tie de eka. No ogusuniti. As if say onum komo na ye die. These are very crucial. And our organization, they be a notebook. We in the bar how time way, and there are some names that they are not even supposed to be known. And these people are just walking away with people's privacy, and nothing is being done about it. It's very, very sad. International WhatsApp American 0201-825-252. 0201-825-252. 0201 825-252 0201-825. Wait me afre na watch our admin. Make data privacy. Kwanya ye be faso a ye betimi abo ye data ho ban. Na ye ka se wo data enye wo din kwa ene enye wo age, ene enye wo sexual orientation, wo psychological being, wo mental, wo any physical features bi a ye betimi identify wo. E kan wo ti se obi fa wo bibi a ye wo ho ade ekoye bibi a well, we need to deal with you have every cost to bring an action against the person. And Ghana, you first money near Grabuchis, animal, don't with discount. So be data, no one said the bonting, Abra, when a company on the command, and you cross any pan information really easy. And I will be a kind of baby say, because hospital will be I'm going say, Nipa Sumesicrano, ya no operation, yes, Yarea or Yarini. And information, and the nurses to hospital. Na omutimi kofi ka obi medical conditions echrenia mame without fear or favor. How? And the hospital komo if you komo no aye nipa aye yare. It is say careful nipa data there. Oman mu ni wiase be bia one of the most sensitive information. I ni kwa say babontin. Dena obi academic performance yem prenti enye etimi twa na de abetu internet so then na why put release that information to the public. Nipa no cry before be kwa out no cry no the information e can public. Enti index number na e kwan ya mo fa so mo generate there's no connection. No say when nipa index number e be betimi print you results just like that.